if you have a business, you should not be paying for flights. you should
Right.
you should always be flying business class for free.
U.S. credit card sign-up bonuses are as close as it gets to free money. You click buttons and you get free flights. Okay, here's another fun fact. This year, I think I booked about $95,000 worth of retail hotel value for free. 95,000.
Oh my. So where do we start? You were just in Pakistan?
Yeah, and last time we saw each other was Phuket. I think it was exactly 1 year ago.
That was a year ago.
Yeah. I see
Wow.
on my Instagram stories the archives. It always shows like Instagram
Okay, yeah,
stories.
a year ago from today. Well, you're the master of year ago from today. So if you guys don't know who this MFer is, the one and only Trevor Wright, aka Mile Method, traveling the world constantly for the past 15 plus, how many years? Around there years, 150 countries?
160.
160 countries. Not only that, but he's the expert in the credit card mile method point stuff where he flies business class for free and stays in Hyatts and hotels and places all the way around the world for free. I've met him in Chiang Mai 8 years ago. So he's one of my OG Thailand buddies. And as of the past 3 years, I've been doing the mile method thanks to him. And if you followed me on Instagram, see me flying business class only now for free. All because of the points, sign-up bonuses, things. He has it down to a science. So us Americans, we're lucky we can do this. So this is we did a podcast over Zoom a few years back, but this is a long-awaited in-person pod.
Yeah. You know what's funny about business class? So I just flew in from Pakistan yesterday. It was a red-eye overnight flight. The meaning of business class is for business people to arrive to their destination not exhausted.
Uh-huh.
And the only time I flew economy, so from Lahore, Pakistan to Bangkok, I flew economy. First time in a long time.
Wow.
And I wasted all day. Today, I slept in. I was exhausted. It's like, for those of you out there who, especially Americans who have the ability to do this, if you've never flown business class, like, you can't go back.
Yeah.
Like, I was destroyed all day long. I arrived at Bangkok 7 a.m. I slept until just like an hour ago.
Yeah.
You waste a whole day. I forgot about that aspect of travel.
Yeah. Since signing up with you, I haven't flown a long-haul flight, so more than 4 hours, over business class. Been about 3 years or so. And even when I flew from Georgia/Turkey to Seattle this summer, I was communicating with you because his service, he actually he gets you the best flight and like books it for you, like lines it up for you, the rewards flights. I couldn't find one that was like my perfect date for arriving home for the 4th. And you know what I did? I just paid $2,000 for the Turkish Airlines flight, and it was the perfect flight. It was just it was a direct from Istanbul to Seattle. And it was just perfect. It arrived at 11 a.m. so I could go straight up to the cabin that day. Whereas all the previous other itineraries, I would have had to stay a night in Seattle and then catch, the seaplane too. And so what I'm getting at is, yeah, you never want to go back to economy. It's like, it's a game changer. So anyways, we're going to probably talk about more, but if you're an American, you've been hearing me talk about it for a long time. Like, you can have, I didn't know this, you can have unlimited amount of credit cards and you can just collect these sign-up bonuses. Basically, you can sign up for a couple every 3 months or so, collect the bonus, meet the minimum spend. Is very easy, and there's like hacks, tips, and tricks to like do that. And then you've just been doing this for years.
Yeah, I always tell people the whole phrase, too good to be true. There's no such thing as easy money. Like, credit cards, U.S. credit card sign-up bonuses are as close as it gets to free money.
Yeah.
You click buttons and you get free flights. And that's obviously good for us as a business model. Sometimes it's an obstacle because people don't believe it. That's why I work on word of mouth. We can talk about that, but everything I've been doing my business for 10 years since we met in 2014, and no ads. It's all word of mouth. And I really prefer that. And I think I've been lucky with that because when it works for one person, they tell their friends, and then their friends come to me. I don't have to convince people that, hey, like, this is real, it works, because their friends do that for me. It's really nice as a business model.
Yeah. And it's not like I've been paying attention these past 3 years since actually doing it, like people's concerns and like and stuff. It's like people wonder like, is this like some sort of like gray area illegal thing? And it's not, right?
No.
Yeah.
You can't force the banks to give you the credit card sign-up bonuses. You can only make the conditions as perfect as possible, so they want to give you the bonuses.
Yeah.
So the banks know what they're doing. They run
Yeah.
the numbers, they have the
Yeah.
algorithms. They're not going to give you a bonus if they don't think that they're going to make money off of you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just taking advantage of the system. They want to incentivize new signups, right? Because they know the LTV of a customer. But if you're smart and you basically don't use the card basically after you sign up, you can cancel it. And Trevor has a whole like spreadsheet system of, all right, the yearly fee is happening on this date, so you can cancel on this date, but this one you have to keep it. You should actually keep the card every year because you get these discounts on your dining or your Uber or the lounge passes, and it's like has it all down to a whole like spreadsheet kind of system, which is fun. So, but yeah, if you're an American, then you can be doing this, and it doesn't take that much time. It's just like every few months, just do some time on a spreadsheet to just organize it, and then apply for the applications, and just basically organize a spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's it's very. So what I do is I make it as easy for clients as possible, because there is a lot of behind the scenes details, knowing how to structure the applications. You don't randomly apply for cards. Like you said, it's 2 cards every 90 days. And then you have to spend on the cards, but it's not random. I've had so many people recently, actually. I do consulting calls, free calls, answer questions, and they say, I'll just do this myself. And every time they say that, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to lose thousands of dollars because there is a certain way. But as far as the service, you just click the buttons I tell you to click.
Yeah. You and then now your team is basically putting together a custom game plan for you based on like your current credit cards, right?
Yep.
And your credit score, and yeah. So basically what cards to apply to, when to cancel. And then if you get denied, which happened to me a couple times, maybe 2 or 3 times, Trevor gives you a script of you call the number and basically exactly what to say. And like always gets them to say, okay, we're approving you. And yeah.
And denials are not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
People think that if you're denied, the world ends, your credit score drops. It doesn't matter. It's just, I've been denied for 40 plus cards. It doesn't matter. And the same bank who denies you for a card, 90 days later, might approve you for a different card, or even the same card.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
It's just an algorithm. You can apply again. Boom. Get it. And so, all right. Should we get into Pakistan stuff now, or any updates you want to share actually with Mile Method? What's?
I mean, things are improving, getting better, but I've been doing the same service since 2014 because it works.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is now I have an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using Notion, which is a game changer.
Yep.
For any business owners out there, if you're not using some type of software, I think Notion is the best. I mean, it really...
Yeah, it's incredible.
And I've been thinking about this. There's all kinds of videos and tutorials how to use Notion for automations. I haven't even scratched the surface. I feel like I'm like a kindergartner floating in the deep end of the pool, like on top of what's possible.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everything I'm doing manually right now, I can eventually automate with Notion. I just don't know how, because it's complex. I mean, what's possible?
Just a couple days ago, I was about to post a job on Upwork, or just go type in Notion expert on Upwork, and next week I'm gonna fucking hire a Notion organizer expert.
Yeah.
And I'm the same. My whole company is fucking organized in Notion. My whole 3 companies, but using no automations yet.
I'm using some, and there's so much more you can do.
Yeah.
So I need to hire someone too, because I know what I want to do, and I know it's possible on Notion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the time to
Yeah.
figure it out. I don't know how.
I'm going to be building basically our whole CRM in Notion. Like, they fill out a form on the website, boom, it's auto-populated. And yeah, you can have a CRM. I was just looking just a couple days ago at the templates, just the free templates that Notion gives you. I hadn't looked in a long time. There's literally a page for everything you could possibly need in your company. It's like everything is just templated. Okay, you have a new company. Here's the HR. Here's the SOPs. Here's the vision, value, mission. Here's the CRM. Here's the company directory. Here's the
The complex part that I was talking about is connecting them. Because let's say you update one page and you want it to update across all your pages. That's possible. I just don't know how.
yeah. Yep. Time for a Notion automation / expert.
And I think that's actually an opportunity, because I know, when I follow your stuff, you're talking to a lot of aspiring digital nomads, teaching people how to do this. I think that's an opportunity.
Yeah. Organize your company in Notion. It's crazy. What a crazy tool. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, I forgot why do we get started on Notion?
Yeah,
I love it so much.
Oh,
it has changed everything for me.
I'm about 5 years in, so I'm relatively early adopter, but still haven't even scratched. The AI is cool. We can rearrange and organize your notes and blah 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 blah. Yeah, really cool. And they're just getting started. We talked about your systems are improving. So your team, you just have one assistant, or
I have one executive assistant, and same service since 2014. I would say the biggest, again, for maybe aspiring mindset, right? Like what you can do to improve, because in my personal business, especially the past couple of years, things have gotten much, much better. The big game changer for me was I provide a service. So for the longest time, I was acting like a freelancer.
yeah,
Every single customer was kind of, I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's obviously not scalable. And the biggest game changer recently was treating my service more like an agency
yeah,
and figuring out how to deliver this service in a standardized way. I mean, all this is kind of 101. So I feel kind of stupid that it took me so long to actually get to this point. But as far as what is my service, it is creating a customized credit card application schedule that earns 1 million airline miles and hotel points for each client. There's a lot of moving pieces, but it's essentially the same steps, slightly customized for every client. And then the second product is converting those miles and points into actual flights and hotels. And there's a whole system for that too. So once I started treating it like an agency, things took off. And also freed up my time, because now I'm not doing everything over and over and over. There's systems in place to, be more efficient.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised you only have one assistant. You can run this entire company just with a handful of Rockstar VAs, which you're, kind of already doing, but you're probably using Notion really effectively now. So so the assistant can, that's awesome. And so you're still not doing, are you still doing the webinars thing, or kind of what's your?
So that's another thing. All of these, learn from my mistakes, people.
Mm-hmm.
I should have been doing webinars a long time ago. I only did my first ever webinar last September, so about a year ago. And I was swamped for 6 months.
Yeah.
So I've only done one. And it's all ready to do it again. But I've decided I didn't want to basically just eat up all my time for another 6 months until I have better systems in place.
Yeah.
Again, Notion is helping with that. So I think by the end of the year, I want to do my second webinar. But my God, they work.
Yeah.
And shout out to Stefan, actually. It's a friend of mine. He's a client, but he runs Webinar Kit. I'm sure there's a lot of different webinar services, but I used Webinar Kit. He really walked me through how to do it, what to do.
Really? I'm a customer of Webinar Kit.
Yeah. Stefan, he's a good guy.
Huh.
And I think you can do webinars on Google now. Like they have right there in, what is it, Google Calls?
Like on
or
Google Meets? Google Hangouts? Google Meet?
Google Hangouts. Yeah. I saw someone doing a webinar on Google Hangouts.
Yeah, probably.
I have no idea how to do that.
It's just a Hangout link, But
Yeah.
so yeah, live webinar. Yeah, I haven't done one of those in years.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So I'll be doing one again by the end of the year. But there's so many just to prepare for it because the webinar is ready, the slides and whatnot. But again, I want to have everything in place before I do it.
yeah. Well, yeah. Let me know when you do it. I'll shout it out. Get some people on there. Americans only, right? Or do you have like are there side quests for non-Americans?
That's another thing I'm doing now is figuring out how to. So surprisingly, more non-Americans contact me than Americans, which is really frustrating because they're not eligible. And one of the things I've done recently is figuring out how to monetize non-Americans. So the only thing I can offer a non-American is discounted flights, which is a gray area. Because what I would do is I tell a non-American, sorry, you're not eligible for the service. I can't earn you U.S. credit card sign-up bonuses. But next time you need a flight, send me a screenshot and I'll see if I can discount it, which means I redeem my miles in their name and then they pay the discounted price.
Yeah.
So it's a small little side hustle where I can help people book basically any flight because I have so many miles I can just
Yeah.
redeem
I'll
for
book
them.
your flight for you. Yeah.
But it's not a business per se because it only works 1 out of 5 times. Because sometimes people are really picky with what flights they want.
Hmm.
And if I can't find them,
You can't find the right awards flight, the perfect awards flight.
right. That's one thing to keep in mind is if you have enough miles and points, you can generally fly any route on any date, but it might not be the nonstop. You know, to book a $10,000 business class one way, the inconvenience might be a 2-hour layover.
Yeah.
And some people, they don't want that. They would rather pay $10,000 than have a 2-hour layover, which
Yeah.
blows my mind. But there are people out there that,
Yeah. Yeah. If you're rich and it's all relative. Money's all relative.
right. And also on that same line that if you search, let's say you want to fly Bangkok, Seattle, and you want to fly 7 days from now, or let's say 3 months from now, you might not find the best award availability as far as a one-stop itinerary. But if you keep searching, the award availability changes all the time. So if you search today, nothing. Search tomorrow, nothing. But then suddenly it opens up. And there's different ways you can set alerts, so you don't have to manually search all the time. You can just receive an email alert when it opens up.
Is that through like a website or?
Yeah, there's a website called seats.aero. And it's a paid service, but you can set alerts. So that's huge because now you don't have to spend every day fingers crossed hoping that something opens up. You set the alert and then you get an email.
Yeah, that's nice. But yeah, it's not going to be always the perfect flight that you need.
But sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is.
So I guess this is what I tell people too, is it's like money in the bank. The more money you have, the more options you have.
Okay, why were you just in Pakistan? Nobody does that except you.
Okay, so I forget where we cut off, but context, I'm living in Koh Samui, southern Thailand, beautiful island. If you visit Thailand, go to Samui. It's amazing. And I planned a trip to see my dad, who I haven't seen in a long time, on a Kenyan safari. So this is Masai Mara. It's one of the premier game drive / safari locations. So I flew my dad business class, Denver to Kenya. We met up at this beautiful free Marriott safari lodge.
Wow.
So this lodge, at least during our stay dates, was $2,800 per night, and I booked it for free with points. So
Wow.
we stayed 6 nights. My dad flew business class round trip from Denver. I flew business class from Bangkok to Kenya to meet up with him. And then when I was looking at my return flights, I thought, Pakistan, it's right there. I've never been. So I booked a flight, business class, of course. So this, and then Pakistan to here. So that entire trip with my dad, all of our flights, all of our hotel, that was a $32,000 trip, and we paid $1,200, so a little bit over $1,000.
Wow.
And
You mean for the flight and accommodation?
the taxes. So
The-
when I say
but what about food and stuff?
that's the cool thing. It was all inclusive.
Oh.
So this Marriott Game Safari Lodge. So this is a little pet peeve of mine. Game drive means you go in a Jeep and you look at animals. Safari, which a lot of people say, means you shoot animals.
Oh, that's the
So
real meaning of it.
people mix up the words, but it's a game drive. And
Yeah.
at this, it's called the JW Marriott Masai Mara, which is the area where the animals are. It's all inclusive. So you including the 2 Jeep game drives every single day. So you go out, you look at elephants, giraffes, lions. We saw everything. Hyenas,
Yeah.
cheetahs. We saw everything except for the leopard.
Mm.
So there's the big 5 is buffalo, elephant, lion, cheetah. I forget.
The big 5. Yeah, buffalo, elephant, lion.
I can't believe I'm forgetting the other one.
freaking-
And
yeah.
leopard is one of them. And the only thing we didn't see was the leopard.
Mm.
Okay, so we did that big trip, and I'd always wanted to visit Pakistan, but the visa process was a pain in the ass.
So this is one of the countries you need to check off.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay,
Kind
so
of,
that
kind
that that's the only explanation I need, because you're on the mission to visit all of them.
kind of, not really, but
Not
yes.
really, but to slowly do it. Not one of those
Slowly.
guys that's like, oh, let's rush around.
Yeah.
Not a Drew Binsky.
If I'm in an area and there's a new interesting place, country that I haven't visited, I'll go. Why not?
Yeah.
So before, the visa process was horrible. You have to send in your passport, wait months and months, pay a lot of money, and now it's an e-visa. So Pakistan will approve your visa in 72 hours. I did that. I went, and I'll be honest, this was the first time in a long time, because of the whole Israel-Gaza thing and Islam and Pakistan being a Muslim country, I had no idea what to expect. I was reading the hashtag on Twitter, the hashtag Pakistan, and there was protests, and it all looked very intimidating. You know, huge protest in Karachi, a southern city, protest in Islamabad. I'm like, I don't know, should I go? Because there's no foreigners there. When I was walking around, I'm the only tall, blonde, white guy. There's no foreigners.
Yeah.
Actually, if anyone's curious, on my Instagram, I saved a bunch of the stories on my profile. You can see under my bio. It's shockingly different than anywhere else I've ever been, because I used to think Bangkok traffic was bad. Bangkok traffic it's a playground compared to what happens in Lahore. There are no rules. It is
Wow.
mass humanity, basically barely crashing into each other, going as fast as you can. Smog. It's the worst smog I've ever seen in my life, which is
Jesus.
probably why I have this cough right now. I probably lost a year off my life by visiting for 4 days.
Jesus.
But okay, so that's smog, traffic, that's horrible. I loved it because some of the guys I met, okay, I don't even know how to explain this. It had been such a long time that I met someone that genuinely was interested in you. You know, you have these surface level conversations. Hey, how are you? People want to talk about themselves. The guys that I hung out with in Pakistan for 4 days, I'll tell you how I met them actually. But the guys I was hanging out with, they were asking me for life advice. You know, they were curious, like how is your business? But not like, they wanted to know genuinely about me as a person. I wanted to know about them, and I had one of these unique connections with a lot of the guys I met that is very rare.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have that experience everywhere. So I'll tell you how I met these guys, which is an interesting story. And I really do think this cough I have is from the pollution.
Yeah.
Because when you're in the streets of Lahore, there's just a cloud of smoke. It's when I was posting these videos, people were asking me if it was fog. No, it's pollution. It's smog.
Jeez.
So the way I met these guys in Pakistan, which is, you know, I hung out with these guys for 4 days basically. I had no plans when I arrived to Lahore, Pakistan, other than making sure there's Uber to get to my hotel. That's the only plan I had.
Uh-huh.
So I pre-checked, okay, there's Uber, great. I'll connect to Wi-Fi and I'll get an Uber to the hotel and figure it out.
Just splat down in Pakistan. Hey, you booked a flight. Ain't no rules. This is life, man. This is traveling the world.
And if you do that at enough times, it's not even strange. It's just,
Yeah, you've done it.
There's
You've done it.
Wi-Fi everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You know, you can always go to your hotel and figure it out. Talk to the concierge.
Yeah.
Google a few articles about the top things to do. It's really not as intimidating as you would think.
Yeah.
In this instance, it was only a little bit more of an unknown because of the Israel-Gaza stuff that's happening. You know, I didn't know if people were going to be pissed to meet an American, and I didn't know based on what's happening, which was not the case at all. So when I got to the airport, I got an Uber, and it was a young guy who picked me up, spoke some English pretty well actually, and we hit it off, just chatting. Like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Where are you going?
Yeah.
And then I said, I don't know. I heard good things about the city. Do you want to be my guide tomorrow? And he said yes.
Yeah.
And then he showed me around. He drove me around. And then we just instantly became friends. And for the next 4 days, he showed me around.
Yeah. I've hired many Pakistani VAs, and I can kind of relate to what you're saying in terms of the guys that are just that were like picking your brain about your business. Like they're really trying to hustle and escape poverty. They're really, and they see a businessman there, and they're like, oh, let's see if I can get some value, some connections. It's hustlers. They're yeah.
That is absolutely true, because hanging out with these guys, I asked them, how do you make money? What do you do? And this is funny, because as an American, we've all received the scam calls, and it's always an Indian voice or a Pakistani voice doing something. Most people just hang up. But this is hilarious, because one of the guys from the friend group that I was hanging out with, he has a call center, and he calls randomly, like a call center, and he offers people discounts off their Xfinity or Comcast.
Hey, that's me.
Basically, their cable packages.
I used to sell that door to door, Comcast Xfinity, bro. I had the Xfinity logo here. That was me, polo shirt, going door to door.
So
this
this guy's hustle is he just cold calls the U.S. over and over and over. Most people hang up until he gets someone that'll listen, and then he says, "I will save you $50 off your monthly cable bill." And somehow people just hand over their credit card information, because one night we were out at Muslim country, they don't drink alcohol, but you can go out to the nightlife areas and drink tea. So I was out at these tea bars, it's called chai in Pakistan, until 1-2 o'clock in the morning. So it's kind of like a nightclub environment, but it's just a bunch of dudes drinking tea. and there's very few women. There are very few. Like it's all just dudes.
Different culture.
And so we're sitting at one of these chai clubs.
Uh-huh.
And he was telling me that, convincing me, it's like, no, it's real. I will save the money. I get it. But you understand, like, why would anyone trust you? If you randomly call people, they're not going to just hand over their credit card information. And from his perspective, because he was such a good, honest guy, he's like, but I'm real. I will save them money. I get it. But why would anyone trust you? He didn't understand the concept that people wouldn't just randomly give him their credit cards. And then another guy from the friend group did medical billing. So he helps doctors track down, unpaid bills. And he told me that he only needs one doctor. If he can find one doctor, he can create an entire business, make his $7,000 a year, and live a good life. So if he can find a single doctor who will trust him to let him track down unpaid bills, he can have a good quality of life.
Uh-huh.
That puts things in perspective, I think.
Yeah.
That if they can make $7,000 a year, they're set. That's amazing.
Yeah. That's the thing with the internet economy, is they only need that one client, for example, and then they can, live great. Like my Pakistani SEO guy, I pay him $1,000 a month.
that he's balling.
You know?
Do
Yeah.
you know what the average monthly salary is? I looked this up because these guys were telling me stories. I'm like,
And
because this guy's hustling to get like a 2% commission or 5% commission. The average, don't quote me, look it up, but I think the average Pakistani salary monthly is 287 US. 287 to 400 depending on your position. Holy shit.
yeah.
And they can live pretty well. I mean,
Yeah, for
I
like
guess.
the, entry level job or, common worker or whatever. And in Bangkok, I think it's like $600 a month for, entry level job at a hotel or waitress or whatever. But that's like in Bangkok, like spread out in the city, about like 300.
Yeah, I guess I'll say one other thing while we're on this topic. So when we were at this chai club, whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
we also went to a shisha place, which was kind of cool. Of course, everyone knows everybody. So I'm with my friends. There's 4 of us, and then people randomly come up to the table and they do the whole like, shake hands, they touch your heart thing. And one guy came over, introduced himself, and I noticed right away that my guys were a little bit standoffish, like with this new guy. And later in the car, when they were taking me back to my hotel, they said, "That guy's a scammer. We don't like what he does." I'm like, "What do you mean? What does he do?" He says he scams people out of iPhones. And I'm curious, like, how does that work?
Out of iPhones.
How does that work? And I didn't understand completely how it worked, but this legit scammer somehow gets Americans to order iPhones, and with a discount maybe. I didn't understand that part. And then once they ship the iPhone, he changes the address to an address of another Pakistani friend in the U.S., and then that Pakistani friend in the U.S. sells the iPhone, and they split the cash 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow they switch the address, and that's his hustle. That's just what he does to make money.
Yeah.
And I felt really good that I was a good judge of character because my guys were amazing,
Huh.
and they didn't like this guy
Yeah.
because he was doing unethical things, and I don't know. I just felt good about that.
That's such an interesting insight because I think millions of people in the world have seen those scamming back the phone call scammers videos on YouTube. Like there's multiple viral ones. Have you seen those?
I saw the one where they did the cockroaches in the call center in India. You see that?
Yeah. There's a whole YouTube channel or multiple channels that get back at those guys, like they go fuck the call centers in Pakistan, and like they've even went and like try to prosecute the scammers that scam people. And so this kind of side story of like in the Pakistani culture,
They all know each other.
If you're known as doing something illegal, then it's like you can still be at the club. You're not going to get like beat up or like shot or like drove out of the club, but like you're going to be looked down upon from the like cool group of guys that do legit hustles.
Yeah, I think the culture is you wouldn't openly disrespect anyone, but you'd keep your distance.
Mm.
You know, like this guy came over, they knew his name, they all like shook hands and everything, but the vibe was different. I knew right away that there's something about this guy that, you know, they don't want to be around him.
Yeah. And that's like, there's got to be a whole, section of guys, like groups of guys that are, or maybe it's probably just the business owners that are super rich, right? Because, some of those hustles can be making, some of those call centers are probably, but then again, it's probably, the employees, in those call centers that are just like scamming and making, probably millions, but then it's the owners of it that probably own the whole thing. I guess what I'm saying is they're probably not independent hustlers, but they work for like a syndicate.
Yeah. The whole thing was, have you ever read the book Shantaram?
No, what's that?
So it's I won't bore everyone with details, but it's an Australian guy who is a criminal. He ends up living in India, and he runs into these types of characters. And I felt in Pakistan that I was living that, because not only they told me about this known scammer, but as I was looking around the room, you could see the hierarchy. Like some of these guys, they had a dancer, and they were making it rain with money.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that table over there is, they're on a different level than my table.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you could tell that in that room there was a few unsavory characters. Just the way their vibe was, you could tell.
Yeah.
It- so it's one of those things that if, let's say, if I would have spent more time in Pakistan, I would understand these things better. I was only there for 4 days, and I feel like I got a glimpse into a world that eh, I kind of knew existed, but I saw it. I was there.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. I'm trying to imagine. It's like we all know, like, all right, maybe we've seen some clips of Lahore, like from whatever. Like, I was aware of that name of his city, but like, what's the other Islamabad, the other
Yeah.
main city?
Islamabad is the capital. Karachi is in the south. It's on the beach.
Karachi.
So here's, if anyone is curious about Pakistan, this is the way my guys explained it to me. Islamabad, boring.
Mhm.
Karachi, dangerous. Lahore, awesome. It has food. It's closer to India, so there's a lot of the, to me, they're basically Muslim Indians. They would be very offended at that, by the way. Sorry, guys, if you end up watching this.
Yeah. There'll definitely be some.
It would be like calling Indians like Hindu Pakistanis. I'm sure that's very offensive. Sorry.
Yeah.
But it's so close to India that it feels a lot like India, but they're Muslim.
Mm.
It was
Gotcha.
interesting.
What have you been to? So Pakistan. Have you been to Afghanistan?
No. One of their friends was from Afghanistan, so that was probably the first Afghani that I'd ever spent time with.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't speak any English, so they had to translate for him the whole time.
Yeah.
It was interesting, yeah.
Interesting. So the guys that you're with, they speak good English, right? Because they're doing phone stuff.
Not as good as you would think, though.
Oh.
So I was surprised that their English was good with a thick accent, but they would be struggling to do phone calls because Americans right away, if they hear an accent, click. So they were with their accent, they were at a disadvantage for sure. But somehow they were still making it work, which is incredible.
It's gonna be interesting with AI. Like we can make ourselves into any voice now. Like there's accent changers. There's apps you can get on your phone, and you can turn your voice into like Obama, and it's like pretty good.
Yeah. In Kenya, I explained that to my dad. I said, hey, if you ever get a phone call, my voice asking for money or some other situation, ask really detailed questions about things that only you and I would know, because Dad, it's getting crazy. And now you can be anyone you want, not only with your voice, but with video. The whole world is about to get a lot weirder.
I forgot about that. I saw those news stories with the
kidnappings.
the fake kidnappings using AI video and voice.
Yep.
Whoa.
A lot of people are falling for it too. Like they're sending money.
Yeah, of course you would. It's like that's like of course you would, right? Unless you're savvy to the AI times, which most regular folks are not. Like you literally hear your daughter's voice, and it's like clearly her voice, and is screaming, "Okay, help me, help me."
And now they can do video too, which if you're a parent and you see your loved one in that situation, I can see why that scam would work.
Yeah, man, interesting times with AI. Are you doing any fun stuff with your business with AI or creative stuff?
I feel at this point, it's exhausting because every single day there's something new.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to keep up on my regular business duties and my regular everything. Now we have to start dealing with AI. I know you could have a competitive advantage by getting on this early, but for me, it's just exhausting to try to keep up with it. So if I do integrate it somehow in the future, I need to hire somebody maybe, or just really deep dive for a couple weeks and figure out what I can use personally and disregard the rest, because it's one of those never ending things. It's just going to, it's never ending.
Yeah. It's just like having an assistant. Well, that's the thing about it. It's not just one thing. But one of the things that can be in your business, it's kind of like having an assistant, but just in a computer, and just being able to talk to your computer. Hey, like it's so amazing just for like simple organizational things. Like I'll have just a bunch of scratch notes from I don't know, from years of just noting random things, pop that into ChatGPT, make an organized numbered list of this,
Yeah,
and
I
it
s-
just
I saw
happens in 5 seconds.
you posted something about using it on your phone. You're using ChatGPT on your phone.
Oh yeah, I have it on my phone. It's on my
Imagine
home screen, by the way.
like, hey, I'm in Bangkok. What are the nearby top 5 sushi restaurants?
Yes.
Amazing.
So they just launched that in recent weeks, where it's now just a voice medium, where ChatGPT now has a voice that talks back to you. So the same thing. It's just it has a voice now, so it's kind of like a Siri. But that's where this is going. Is we are going to have what Microsoft is now calling your AI Copilot,
Yep.
and it's going to be in your devices like a Siri. And if you want it to be listening, whatever, it could be listening to this podcast, and I could ask it a question right now, live in the interview, and it's like our assistant, and I could be like, for example, I could be like, where did we get cut off? Where did the memory card go off? And it will understand it, and it'll be just like a fucking person.
Or I saw you can also upload files. So imagine, I mean, I really don't know how to best optimize this, but imagine your memory card. You
Yeah.
upload it and you say, hey, organize these files, delete the bad photos, or
Yeah.
how much time that could save. I have a ton of Safari photos, Game Drive photos, and I haven't even taken the time to sort through them yet because it takes time. Imagine being able to just upload it and say, hey, pick the best 20 animal video photos. Done.
Yeah. and that's kind of already been happening. Everyone is seeing it like in your phone. It will say, hey, we have a new collage video for you in your iPhone, right? Like we have these trip highlights for you. That's the version 1 of it. But I've been thinking about this AI thing for 10 years. And as a creator, YouTuber, vlogger, or whatever, I've known for 10 years and think about this. In the future, with AGI, super, we're going to be able to, and we're going to have, really perfect VR, glasses. Even you can imagine contact lenses. And I'll just be able to say, yeah, pull up the Kenya Safari. Boom, right here. Not only that will it pull up my actual iPhone videos, but AI can already do this now. It can take a shitty quality video and then turn it into perfect 4K. That's one of the cool things I've actually not used yet, is it can take a shitty quality, I don't think maybe video quite yet, but it's right around the corner. It can take a regular shitty quality photo, low light, any blurry, grainy. You upload it to this AI app and it makes it into an 8K perfect photo.
I mean, eventually we have to start using these things because you're at a disadvantage if you don't. That's where I'm at right now. I know I have to. I got too much on my plate already. But that's actually the wrong attitude, because if used properly, these can simplify and take things off your plate. So I'll add it to the to-do list, I guess.
Yeah, there's just so many different areas to use it. Of course, these are the areas of a business. There's marketing, and there's like different things you could do for marketing, right? For getting customers, you could automate your team's tasks and make things more efficient. But then over on the whole other side, which is the side I think of most right now, is the creative side. Like what I was just saying with the photos, and probably pretty soon it'll be able to do the same thing with videos. So, for example, we could just film this podcast just with one phone, and it doesn't even need to be a 4K camera. And then we pop it into some AI app, and it'll say, all right, turn this into 8K, and then also have 2 different angles of each person, and it'll just generate that. From what it already has, it will fill in the gaps and generate the rest of it. And so that's called, I guess, generative AI, and what they're.
Yeah. You know what I hate about this whole movement is that and they're making money from it, so good on them. But a lot of the marketers, they're just pumping out content that's bullshit.
That's what I hate too as well.
They're just clogging the internet.
Oh, I hate that.
And logically, if you look if that continues on the same trajectory, it's bots on bots on bots communicating with bots. And the internet is beautiful because it connects humans. And the trend of just pumping out content to scrape off a little bit of money because you have mass production of this bullshit. That's what I don't like about this. If you're creative, I think it can make your creativity amplified. But most people aren't creative. And they're just amplifying stupidity. That's what bothers me.
I'm seeing it happen in my business this month, but I knew it was coming. I hired 2 different freelancers, and they're LinkedIn content creators. And I'm sure they're great, but unfortunately what's happening to a lot of guys, freelancers, sort of a lot of people, is the AI that you think is good is actually shit. It's very shit. And so now I'm on Upwork every day too, and now I see on job posts that this one guy put, "Don't even think about AI" in all caps. It was like Amazon copywriting job, and now you have to put, "Don't even think about AI." And I had to tell it to both of these freelancers. Like I saw like one of his examples, and it was it was obviously AI. It was just blah blah blah. Hey, I have a script for you. I have 8 scripts for you. And he came to me with a straight face, and I was like, well, this is obviously, I tried to do it in the nicest way. Well, so this is obviously AI. Let's not do that.
But good sir, it is not AI.
And it was just like, so you guys need to realize, and I'm like telling him, I'm like, AI is good to put for generating ideas, to put on a blank page.
For organizing.
But for final products, it's never a final product. It can be a first draft to just spit some words and then go from there. But it's not to the point where it's going to be like smart and like actually creative.
I wonder how this is going to age 2 years from now.
Yeah, because that's the thing, you never know. But still, like, if you want to make good social media content, it needs to be thought through. It needs to be good. It can't just be like, for example, like the post was like, "Here are 5 ways to improve your Amazon sales," and it's just like vague shit. Make sure your images are engaging. Number 2, make sure the product solves a problem. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So be careful, guys.
I would like to think that there'll be a pushback to wanting more of the human connection.
Exactly.
So the people, the vloggers and the marketers and whatever, this is a whole new world. I don't do any marketing. The people will gravitate towards the real authenticity. I mean, that's always been the case with the internet, but maybe that'll definitely be the case after AI, because people will just get sick of reading these articles that are just nothing. It's fluff.
Yeah. That's the point that I don't hear people talking about. And I think I mentioned that on a recent video. It's this AI revolution is actually going to make it, it's actually going to make the kind of creators, like someone like me, like a YouTuber, actually be kind of more listened to, more valuable, I guess you could say, because now real humans are going to be mixed in with other stuff that people will know is kind of AI. And exactly, people are always going to gravitate to the real person, and it's going to get to the point where on a YouTube video, you'll never know if it's generative AI. It could be like 100% lifelike, which is scary to even think about. And so what will that do? That will gravitate people towards in-person meetups more, in-person stand-up, in-person YouTuber meetups.
Yeah, not to bring it back to my business, but so what I do in the Miles and Points world, most people make money from blogs because they pump out a bunch of articles, more and more with AI, and they have tons of readers. They make it sound urgent with clickbait headlines, and you read an article, "This is a great credit card, I need to apply right now," and they get affiliate commission. It's very profitable because some of these affiliate commissions are very high. So imagine the points guy who has millions of monthly readers, 1% conversion, normal, right? 1% of a million clicking on links that pay you a lot of money. That's very profitable. What I've done, because I don't want to compete with that, I don't know SEO. I don't want a team of writers. The whole reason I started my business mile method was so I could travel. So I'm not trying to limit my freedom or my travel. In that way, it really is a lifestyle business, I guess. I don't like that term, but I created it because I wanted to travel. Not that was the only reason. And what I do, it's a one-on-one service. So going back to this whole authenticity thing, more of a human connection, it is a service in this whole industry where there is no human connection because it's just articles and blogs. And that's why I think it's grown and grown, because people want that. They don't want to just read endless articles. They just want to be told what to do so they can travel for free. So that's why my niche has really worked with word of mouth, because there's not anyone doing that really. I think I saw one other guy who's doing an actual service like I do.
Okay.
And I looked at his website, and it wasn't very interesting. It wasn't fun. He wasn't traveling himself. He was, behind a desk, and it just, I didn't see that as competition at all. And even if it was, there's plenty of Americans who want to travel. There is no competition with what I do.
Yeah, there's it's like a done with you type of thing. And so for people that are, if you watch this far, by the way, like the video, you're probably interested to hear more. So is it like a yearly membership now, or for people that are wondering?
One-time payment.
One time.
Yep. So it's a one-time payment, and I work with clients 18 months, guarantee them 1 million miles and points. Guarantee number 1, guarantee number 2, 2 fully booked and confirmed luxury vacations. So for my fee, you will get 2 vacations. My team and I work with you until those are booked.
Nice.
Right.
And then you have the Facebook group, basically.
Yeah, private Facebook group. People can ask questions.
So community, yeah.
Yep.
And then whenever they need to book a flight, they submit your Notion form.
Yep.
Now, right?
A 4-minute questionnaire, just where you want to travel, dates, and then my team and I reply with actual screenshots. This is something cool we've been doing. So I've been helping clients book trips for 10 years, but I've never tracked the retail value versus what my clients pay in taxes, taxes plus points. We've been tracking only since June, so about 6 months. 6 months, yeah. And my clients have booked $1.5 million worth of retail flights and hotels for $100,000. That's cool. I'm kicking myself for not tracking that earlier, because probably this year we've helped clients book $3 million worth of flights and hotels for about $200,000, if that were averaged for the year. That's insane. Yeah. When I saw that stat, I'm like, why didn't I do this earlier?
Yeah, you're in the probably over the years, you're tens of millions. Yeah.
I mean, this year alone was 3 million.
Yeah.
So why didn't I track this earlier? Because if I had that number earlier, I could be promoting that on my website. Like, my clients have booked the X amount of retail value for.
Just put 10 million. You can put, I approve you to put 10 million plus, because of course it's probably, more than that.
Well, we're definitely tracking it now. And this is interesting too. So because we track all of that, and each client has an itinerary with step-by-step booking instructions, right now we have about, I think, 160 step-by-step how to book itineraries, and I'm going to start listing that on the website finally with a buy now button, which I've never had, because with my current service I have to pre-qualify everybody, make sure they're eligible. But I'm going to start listing these itineraries on my website. I'm not sure the exact price yet, but let's say you want to buy all the European itineraries, $47. So you can get let's say 50 examples of other itineraries that clients booked with miles and points to Europe buy now, $47, and now you can see all the different examples.
Wait, itineraries meaning like things to do or just
Yeah.
flight?
So for example, let's say when my current clients put in a trip request, let's say they want to fly from New York to Paris. They put in their travel dates. They also upload their miles and points because they've earned miles and points through my service, and we know how many miles and points they have. That's all they have to do is travel dates, upload their current mile and point balances, and then we reply with screenshots of the retail flight, the award booking, which is the mile or point redemption, and then steps on how to book. So we have all these examples, and
Okay.
yeah, now someone can see those same examples and replicate them if they want.
Interesting.
So when I put that on the website, I'm going to do a video explaining, because it's not a straightforward concept, but
Yeah.
it's basically you can see how 100 other people booked these other trips, and if you have the miles and points, you can potentially book those same trips
Yeah.
the same way.
Yep. Okay, good. I've always thought about, have you thought about, doing an entry level, offer digital product basically,
Yeah.
like,
It's-
okay, boom. I love that. I love 47
Yeah.
bucks.
Right. And then a course is on the to-do list. I should
Yeah.
have some type of intro how to do this.
Yeah.
The problem with that is it's going to be different for everybody. So there is no standardized way how to earn 1,000,000 miles, because every single person's application history, cancellation history, credit scores, travel destinations, it's all monthly spending. It's all
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
So anyone who has a course saying this is the absolute way how you can apply for credit cards to travel for free, it's not true.
Yeah.
There is no standardized way, because it depends on each person's situation.
Mhm.
And that's why I've been doing the one-on-one service.
Yeah.
Because
That's why it's the done with you could say. I've seen, you've seen other courses, do it yourself. All right, cool.
you
But
can
the
learn,
done with you
but
makes sense.
it's
like,
just they're not exactly being fully transparent when they say this digital course will work for you. That's not how it works with the credit cards, because everyone's different.
yeah. And so the Facebook group, when people have whatever questions, they just post in the Facebook group, and either you get to it or someone else does.
Yeah, no, I reply. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all me.
Yeah. So boom, it's like having your consultant. All right, because you're gonna run into roadblocks, edge cases, and yeah, I'm in the Facebook group. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
And so, so for people that don't know, it might be wondering. All right, so were you staying in the Marriott in Pakistan?
There's a 4 Points by Sheraton. It's a Marriott hotel. Yeah.
And so the Marriott, they have, so the points, the awards program is the Marriott Bonvoy program.
Yes.
And that is a collection of like 300 different hotel brands, right?
Not brands,
Or
properties,
property.
probably. I forget the exact number, but each hotel brand has different types of hotels. So, for example, the Kenya Safari was the JW Marriott,
Mhm.
which is the top of the line. That's the absolute best within the Marriott brand.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 4 Points would be a lower brand. So they differentiate by price.
Yeah.
So
Different
there's
tiers.
there's a property for every, I want to say use case, but that's very marketing. For every type of person. If you just want a bed beside the highway, there's a cheap hotel. If you want a luxury honeymoon experience, there's a top tier hotel. So every hotel brand, Hilton, Marriott, Hyatt, IHG, which is Intercontinental, Holiday Inn, they all have different price tiers.
Yeah. And so basically, you have shit tons of Marriott Bonvoy points pretty much wherever you go, based on the amount of points that you want to spend, which you basically have unlimited. So you're going to be staying at like a super nice room at a super nice hotel, and that's been your go-to. Just like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's another fun fact. This year, 2 fun facts. This year I stayed 130 nights, consecutive nights, for 100% free. So that was a record for me. I lived out of hotels for 130 nights this year. in Japan, Southeast Asia. Japan. I stayed 2.5 months in Japan, which is incredible.
Whoa.
And I think I really should have run the numbers before this talk, but this year I think I booked about $95,000 worth of retail hotel value for free. 95,000.
Oh my.
Are
Are you staying in Samui at a hotel?
I'm sorry?
Are you staying in Koh Samui at a hotel?
No. I mean,
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I stayed 10 nights, but now I have an apartment.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a record. 130 consecutive nights living out of hotels. It was fun, but it's not. It's always so. I was jumping around a lot in Japan. Osaka, Kyoto, Tokyo, going from hotel to hotel. So this is great because I saw a lot of different neighborhoods. I stayed at a lot of the same hotels that my clients will stay at. So when they ask me, which hotel is the best hotel in Osaka, the W Hotel, I know these answers because I've lived it.
Yeah.
But it's not a normal life at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have a kitchen. You don't. It's just a very like vagabond temporary life.
Yeah.
And I was fine with that in Japan because I really did want to jump around and see different areas. But I'm so happy to have an apartment in Koh Samui.
Yeah.
I have my blender, I have my supplements, I have
Yeah.
everything. And this is kind of what I've done. This is how I've approached travel is I will stay somewhere, maybe for the whole visa, 3 months, or extend like you do, like I'm doing in Koh Samui, for 6 months or a year, whatever it is. And then I'll go crazy and take a 2-week trip. Kind of what I just did with Kenya and Pakistan. It's exhausting. I've been I've been outside of Thailand for 16 nights in Kenya and Pakistan, and those 16 nights feel like many lifetimes. And it's only 16 nights. And it is, I think that's why I slept all day today. Because not only did I fly the overnight flight, but I'm just kind of catching up on these crazy experiences I've had for the past 16 nights.
Yeah. You're just in Africa. You're just in Pakistan on the way back. But yeah, that's the cool thing about the hotel points is, I was just at the JW in KL for free because I have a bunch of points. Right? And it's perfect for those. Yeah, it's perfect if you're a fucking digital nomad because no matter where you are, you can stay. There's always a hotel, as long as you're in a city, there's always a hotel that you can redeem with points.
Yep.
So,
and here's one thing I've noticed, because with my service you'll earn 1 million miles and points. We always focus on airline miles first because that's the best value. You want to accumulate airline miles so you can fly business class. But the way you apply for 2 cards every 90 days, you can't just do back to back to back to back airline miles. Sometimes you need to mix in a hotel point bonus. And so many clients or potential clients say they don't care about hotels. And I always try to flip their mindset, because they don't care about hotels because they've never stayed at a nice hotel. So if you can stay at a Ritz-Carlton, a W Hotel, a JW Marriott, a Park Hyatt. I've stayed on, I this same year I also did a Maldives trip. 3 private island resorts. It was a $21,000 trip that I booked for $200.
Jesus.
So on that trip I visited 3 different. You were in the Maldives recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool. With points, these are private island resorts. One of the hotels was $5,000 a night.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal. Okay, so when they say I don't care about hotels, it's because they've never had those experiences. Maybe you don't want to do that all the time. Maybe you really do prefer an Airbnb or a monthly apartment because you have a more of a normal life.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're doing a visa run to KL, why not stay a couple nights in the best hotel in the city? Mm-hmm. Which these point hotels, the major benefit too is they're always centrally located.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for minimum spend, that's a typical one. You got to spend $3,000 in the first 90 days to unlock it. And what Trevor kind of says to his clients is just spend your regular daily spend on that to unlock it. But if you don't want to do that, there are like little hacks and tricks to get around it, and that's one of the things that you got to know of that it's one of the things that people ask too. Well, aren't you getting that because you need to spend a certain amount to unlock it? But what with your method, it's just like with most of your clients, they're just switching over their, let's say, their daily driver to that card for the next 90 days to unlock it.
Yeah. So one of the ways to simplify this from a business owner perspective, you can use business spend to earn the bonuses. A lot of people ask me, do you have to exclusively use business purchases on a business card, exclusively use personal transactions on a personal card? It doesn't matter. You can put any transaction on any card.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters is how you track it for taxes and accounting purposes.
Yeah.
So, you know,
there's no one at Amex like looking over your purchases. This doesn't look like business.
right. Like that Starbucks was a personal Starbucks, no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yes, if you have actual business purchases, you need to report those and track them for accounting, to get for tax purposes. Another thing you can do is, especially maybe a lot of people listening, you have online ad spend, Facebook, Amazon, Google. There's certain cards that you can earn multipliers. So you can earn 3 points per dollar for ad spend or 4 points per dollar on ad spend. And I have clients who spend $500,000 a month.
Yeah.
Imagine getting, 2 million points in 1 month. Well, I mean, it depends, but yeah. With the multiplier. So, okay, let's put this in perspective. My dad flew Denver to Kenya business class for 80,000 points. If you are doing ad spend with a ridiculous amount per month, you should never ever, one, you should never fly economy. Two, you should never be paying for flights.
Yeah.
Because you're just racking up, let's say, 1 million points per month when it's only 80,000 for business class, one way business class, or maybe 110 first class.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're spending that kind of money.
So this is the whole other side of this that we haven't even touched, is if you're an American and you have a business and you do not have either the Amex Gold or the Chase Sapphire Preferred Ink.
The Chase Ink Preferred.
The Chase Ink Preferred. If you're not doing your business expenses on one of those cards, then if you have a business, you should not be paying for flights. you should always be flying business class for free. And ever since starting the Mile Method, all my Amazon ads for my Sticky Wallet product are now on the Business Gold, and it basically means I get free business class flights for life.
Yeah, I don't do any ads, but it's tempting to find a way to do ads just so I can rack up these points.
Yeah. And so the two main ones are the ones I just said, but it's limited, right? It's capped at $150,000 per year.
Yes.
So times 3 would be 450,000 points per year.
But you can have multiple cards.
Exactly. But once, just get 2 cards, get another one. And then so a lot of businesses are spending way more than that. And so just split it out between multiple cards. And depends how much you fly. But for example, I fly maybe 2 or 3 business class flights long haul around the world per year. My small little one product Amazon business is enough for me to.
And that's just the ad spending. That's not even the bonuses.
That's just the ad spending. That's just the ad spending.
Yeah.
So like I for example, another guy in the Discord, Bobby, high ticket drop shipper, spending tons in inventory, and I like told him in the Discord, and he signed up for the business class or for the Amex Business Gold, and he's like, bro, like, thank you for that. Like, this is one of those things so many people are going to be kicking themselves for not doing this years before.
Yeah, on the same note, you should never be spending on a debit card for a lot of reasons. You're not getting any benefit, and also you have no protection if there's any type of fraudulent activity. It's a pain in the ass to get a bank to reimburse a fraudulent charge on a debit card. But on a
Okay.
credit card, it's no big deal. You send a message, hey, this wasn't me, wipe it away. It's fine.
Yeah. And so actually, Bobby is Canadian, but what he did is, I'm not an expert on this, but he opened a U.S. LLC and can do the credit card through there.
It's called Amex Global. I'm not too familiar with this because I'm busy enough with American clients, but there is a way if you have an Amex credit card with Singapore, Hong Kong, Canada, a lot of these other countries that allow Amex credit cards, you can transfer your Amex history to the United States to get U.S. credit cards. So that's probably what he did.
Mm.
It doesn't allow you to open up other credit cards with other banks unless you go through a whole set of other steps. But it is a pretty easy way for non-Americans to take advantage of Amex bonuses in the U.S.
Okay, and these are only the business ones?
I'm not that up to date on it, but
Okay.
if you want to look into it, it's called the Amex Global Program, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that a non-American could look into.
Yeah. So if you're doing ad spend, put that on one of those cards, and yeah, thank Trevor later. You're gonna be flying. You're gonna have crap loads of points, staying free, flying free, and so yeah, I wish I had more ad spend. so and so actually, one of the things we did in my Amazon agency is we were putting, because actually we had to do it this way, for Amazon DSP ads, which we're running through a third-party agency. Client pays us for their Amazon DSP ads, which is like $30,000 a month, and then we use our Amex Business Gold to pay for that. And so, yeah, there's the different little creative ways if you like really want to put more on a credit card, and if there's a same for the personal. Just minimum spend. Okay, you gotta spend $3,000 in the first 90 days. If you really don't want to, there's creative ways to, do a loop, or creative ways to meet it. I don't know. There's gift cards, for example, one idea.
Yeah,
You
it's
can-
a lot easier if you're U.S. based. There's a lot of tricks to buy a gift card. With the gift card, buy a money order, deposit the money order. I used to do these things many years ago. It's a lot of effort to do that. There's actually people that make full-time incomes just from, it's called manufactured spending a lot of money through these tricks on a cashback credit card. There's guys that make 100,000 plus just doing these tricks. I don't recommend it because the banks obviously don't approve of this. There's a lot of risk of having your bank account shut down. But for little increases, go buy some gift cards. If your normal spending isn't enough, and then use those gift cards, that's no problem.
Yeah, you can buy. So for example, like if I'm like, all right, oops, I forgot about this card. I gotta meet 3,000 spend by 2 weeks. I can just buy a $3,000 Amazon gift card.
Yep.
And then whatever, it'll be in my Amazon account. Then I'll spend later.
Or here's another thing I did this past year. My tax bill was very high, and I planned it so I could apply for 8 credit cards with my tax bill. So I paid my taxes last April, 2022, I guess, on 8 different. No, I'm sorry. I applied.
Oh.
What did I do? It seems like a lifetime ago. The IRS does allow credit card payments for tax payments, and I paid my tax bill. I think it might have been on 2 different cards, or maybe I used my parents'. So you're allowed to do 2 different credit cards to pay taxes. And I somehow did 6 different credit cards. Anyway, I earned 1 million miles. I forget exactly what I did.
So you signed up for all of them,
and
so you could meet the minimum spend
by
during
paying
tax
taxes.
season.
Yep, and paying my taxes, I earned 1 million miles.
Wow.
So that
Yeah.
was a significant amount, and it took the sting out of paying taxes a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's always an option too. You can prepay taxes. So if you're ever in a situation where right now I'm spending on a credit card that requires $10,000 within 3 months, which is way more than I spend because I'm in Thailand. So if I have to, I can prepay taxes. That's one option. Another thing I do personally, because so many people contact me about travel, when people ask me about hotels, I say I can't really offer a discount, but we can book it through my account because I have status, and you'll have a free upgrade and free breakfast. So this is a gray area, but I had someone book with me recently, and that was almost $2,000, and they got free breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
So the point is, if you're creative, there's always ways to find, new ways to spend or prepay your current bills.
Yeah. Just Google it. There's a lot more, but obviously Trevor's, he's, if you can, always recommends just do it with your regular spending. Yeah, it's not that hard. And then there's the business cards, and you can have, because a lot of people don't know this, and this is one of the most common questions. There's no limit to the amount of cards you can have.
Each bank has its own rules. So Amex limits your cards with a revolving credit line. A revolving credit line means there's an actual credit line, but Amex has a lot of charge cards, like the Amex Gold or the Amex Platinum cards, and there is no limit to the amount of charge cards you can have. So that's an example of what we were talking about earlier, that there is no one best way to do this. So you have to know that rule with Amex, the number of cards you can have, also based on your cancellation, because Amex has a rule that you can only earn the bonus once per lifetime with Amex, which in reality is only once every 7 to 8 years. So you can earn the bonus with certain cards once every 8 years. These are details that I take care of for clients, because each bank has their own rules for these types of things.
Coming back to AI, and this brings up a certain with Chase cards, you can earn them. For example, for the Sapphire Preferred, you can earn it once every 4 years. If you cancel it, you can get 4 years later. Have you done that?
Yeah. I've gotten bonuses on some cards 15 times.
Wow. Because on some cards you can get them every year.
It depends.
Yeah,
it depends on the card.
And so this needs to be in a spreadsheet, and I wonder if you have this. This is something I asked. Okay, going back to AI for a second. Have you tried Bing AI?
No.
So Bing AI is basically ChatGPT connected to today's internet. I go, can you research what are the top 20 best credit cards in terms of sign-up bonuses? Can you put that into a sheet that says all these sign-up bonuses, and then in another column, how long after I cancel I can sign up and earn the bonus again? And it goes, it scans today's internet, scans blogs, and it put it into a sheet.
Nice.
And so,
but you could have just Googled. There's probably
articles on that.
30 articles on that already.
Yeah. But you can customize it. You can be like, only cards that do this, and it'll do like a custom list for you. And so I'm sure Trevor already has that sheet, but in the sheet he makes for you, it's got, actually, I don't know if it has. Oh yeah, in some of them it says, hey, apply this to this. You can apply to this one again in 2 years. And I was just looking at this one recently, because now I'm at that point.
Yeah, you're actually ready to apply again. I looked before I came over.
Yeah, I'm ready to apply on ones that I applied, got the bonus, and canceled 3 years ago. And so you can rinse and repeat.
And here's the thing, is that those rules change all the time and without notice. So you kind of have to follow the geeky forums just to get the recent updates. So when I told you, there's a Citibank American Airlines card, for example, that you used to be able to apply for every 30 days. And I was doing that. So I was earning these bonuses every 30 days, every 30 days, every 30 days. And that's no longer the case.
Yeah.
And so these things change constantly. You really just have to stay on top of the news.
Yeah. Or you can ask Bing AI. It's it's not perfect, of course, but it just scans blogs and tells you, what it is. You can talk to it, blah blah blah. That's
I would be really curious to look at that to see if it's accurate. The information that it pulls.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but I use Skype a lot with my VAs, and like Bing has integrated it. It's like there's like a chat with Bing, and you can ask it anything about today's internet. It's very very interesting. Another thing they're doing with AI is, like, if you're a business or a coach or a consultant or whatever, they can make an AI like version of you. Like, for example, your clients could just, like, it could be a Trevor chat.
I saw that. You see that they're doing that with OnlyFans too?
I would guess someone's gonna start doing that with.
Yeah.
Do you mean like?
They're making the AI models that.
mean the actual company OnlyFans, or
No, just individual creators.
creators are gonna put that in? Yeah.
So now these idiots are paying to interact with this
Yeah.
virtual girl.
So like inside the OnlyFans app, because I would guess the OnlyFans company would really try
I
hard to
don't
stop
think it was
that.
inside. Sorry. I guess it's not OnlyFans. Just
Yeah.
what is that called? What is
Yeah.
what are the models called?
Virtual girlfriend. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's like, because I know some dudes that do like OnlyFans agency stuff, and it's like the holy grail unlocking the holy grail would be figuring out how to integrate AI in the actual app, so like your followers are actually, so you don't need chatters, so you don't need to hire a bunch of VAs to run the chats if you can automate that. Yeah, interesting time with AI, but all we know is the world is still going to be the world's, and if you want to explore it, it's not only easier than ever because we have the internet and connect with people, and you can work from anywhere. But if you're American and some other, I'm sure there's in other countries there's some bonuses, but they're not as big.
It's less than 10% of what we can do as Americans.
Oh, really? That's fascinating. So if you're American, then you really should be flying business class, especially if you have a business, but especially just everyone. Yeah.
The best decision I ever made was traveling. I met you, I started my business. The more you put yourself out there, the more opportunities you find. That's just how it is. More people you connect with. So you don't necessarily have to travel the way I travel. It's a bit excessive, to be honest. But getting out, I don't know who the audience, who if people are sitting at home watching this wondering, how can I be in a penthouse in Bangkok? But you didn't get here overnight. You went to the conferences, you put in the time, you made the connections. That's how it works. It's all step by step.
Yeah.
So, and I would say that travel is, when done right, is an accelerator of that process, because it really helps you find what you want. And then, I don't know. I feel like if I were to sit back and evaluate my own life, all the best things have come from the connections I've made while traveling. And the experiences too. I mean, I don't want to relive all those experiences, but because of them, I am where I am now. And I'm pretty happy with how things are going.
What is for people might be wondering, what's your kind of workflow? Because I see you working at cafes a lot. Do you work in the hotel rooms? Like, 'cause some people ask me this question, like, how do you travel so much and like also get work done?
I do like working out of coffee shops. Maybe a bigger picture to answer that is, work has become fun.
Yeah.
So it's not like I have to set aside time for work. I do. I mean, we all do. But I want to. I wake up in the morning, I can't wait to get to a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Because not only am I very addicted to coffee, to get that first jolt in me, but I'm excited just to catch up and get things going. And because at a certain point with business, when things are going well, which triggers make the money, for example, or which triggers make your clients happy. And when you know exactly how to do that, it is kind of like I think you posted something today, that the different ways to trigger endorphins. And
yeah, that was an interesting one.
And there was a post where it said, notice no electronics on the list. But for me, I guess the point I'm trying to make is, with these triggers, I can, every time I send a completed itinerary to a client, a lot of these headlines are $20,000 trip for $500, or $4,000 one way for $20. As soon as the client opens that, they respond immediately. Holy shit, thank you. Like, yeah. I'm gonna book it right away, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
So I don't entirely agree with no electronics, because the electronics are the medium sometimes. And I don't know, I'm rambling a little bit, but as far as the workflow, I like working, so it's just part of travel. Even in Pakistan, I spent more than half a day just in the hotel cafe, just working. This is an entirely new country, an entirely new city. There was some FOMO, like I should get out there, I should see things, I should go walk around. But I had things to do and I was enjoying it, so I did it.
Yeah. There's different levels to this question. So one is, what is work? All right. So it's different if it's a whole nother paradigm we're in, because we are our own boss. It's different if you have a remote job. So what he's kind of getting at is, building a business is, I talk about this all the time when people ask me, how much do you work a week, or what's it is? I never think about that, because it's like building your own Lego house, building your own business. Like, it doesn't feel like work at all. Like, it's building something. It's building your own erector set.
That is a good point. If everything I was doing was remote work for someone else, just for the paycheck,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be nearly as excited.
Yeah. That's the key. That's the key, guys.
Because I see a clear path to improvements, to more money, to happier clients, to more clients. I see a clear path to do all of that. So I enjoy following that path. But if
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make money, it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah. It's like running a business and life in general. You can look at it in one way, like a video game. Like, running a business is like a video game, but the points are real life points. It's money points. You get money. And yeah, when, us business owners, we know this feeling. We open the laptop and we check our email, and it's like, oh, sale, new customer, new client. And like, when I get a new client, oh, boom, invoice paid, that's it. Like, and I've been realizing this, like, more and more, like, that actually in the back of my mind is why at the beginning of the mornings, like, I kind of open my laptop and I go straight to the email, because I know I'm going to get that, like, dopamine hit if I see someone signed up. And like, so that's part of running a business. And, you get those rewards just like a video game. It's building, it's playing a video game in real life. Like, I always think about, like, people are like, oh, you're at the laptop so much. And I'm like, but it doesn't feel like work. What does it feel like? I'm like, oh, this is how gamers feel. Like, some people, it's gaming for them. Like, whenever they have spare time, or even on the weekends, they're like, oh, I'm going to go back into my game, because I empathize and I understand, because their World of Warcraft game, that's just like us running a company. They're building something in their virtual world, and they're getting the points for it, and they're leveling up, right? That's how video games are built to be addictive. They're improving, and then they get this badge, and then this badge, and then this level, and then that's kind of like us building a business. We're just doing it something in the real world. And there's all these little dopamine hits, built into it with the new customer and the this and the up and the down.
And
so
it's never ending.
Yeah.
That's another important thing for maybe anyone listening thinking that they want to be a business owner. It's never ending. But
Yeah.
if you enjoy the process, you don't that's not intimidating to know that there is no finish line. There's no point where this business is done and the money just comes in. No, you always have to work on it. You always have to improve. But if you enjoy it, it's not a big deal. I mean, I really don't know where I'll be 5 years from now. This whole credit card business model could die overnight. Did you see that there was some congressman trying to get rid of rewards points?
No. Wow.
I didn't look in. So this is interesting as a mindset perspective. There was this congressman, for whatever reason, saying, well, actually, I do know the reason. When you use a credit card, it's the store that pays the merchant fee. So 1.7% higher with Amex. So the way I saw this congressman trying to get rid of rewards points, he was basically lobbied by Amazon and Walmart, because if they can get rid of credit cards points, they can make an additional 1.7% profit or more, because they can get rid of merchant fees. So this whole thing, this that I don't think went anywhere, was basically Walmart, Amazon versus airlines, hotels, and banks.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm not even going to look into this because, one, I can't control it, so it is what it is. But two, the banks are pretty powerful still. You know, until central bank digital
CBDCs.
currencies come into place, the banks are still, they're powerful.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're the most powerful.
anyway, the mindset part of that is don't worry about things you can't control. Like, I'm not going to go to Congress and lobby anybody, so I'm just going to sit back and let it happen. But the point is, everything I'm doing could end overnight. And because I enjoy this business building process now, I'm not even worried because I'll just do something else.
Yeah. I was just saying this to someone yesterday. It's people worry about, politics and geopolitics, presidential, whatever. It's like, the wise man says you have no business worrying about, doesn't make sense to worry about something that's completely out of your control. And so that's a good reminder, I think, for me, I think for everybody. Like, why worry about it, And then the kind of other piece to that is there's different types of businesses. And I was just talking to a guy yesterday on Zoom. We're setting up to do a podcast soon. It's going to be very interesting. And he was talking about, he actually wrote a book on, like, for entrepreneurs, seeing your business as you have a relationship with your business. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of it that way. He's like, we all have our own relationship with our business. That's all it is. And different businesses can be different things. I mean, similar to a job. Like, some people really hate their job. Some people, it's like, yeah, they're excited about it, And some people in their job, it can be great at first, and then over time, they're not interested. Same thing as a romantic relationship. It can be exciting at first, and same thing with a business. And so it's a very common thing, like in business for the founder, after a certain period of time, they become disinterested, and then they try to sell their company and move on to the next thing. But there's other types of businesses. I would call it a passion business. Like for me, doing this podcast and doing vlogs and, living that life, being a YouTuber. And for you, it seems like this is not something that you're building like for an exit in mind. It's a different flavor of business. It's a passion business, something that brings you like purpose and meaning and like actually like legit fulfillment. And that's the ideal type of business.
On the flip side, I would say it's not good to have the business become your identity, which that might be my case. Because what happens if I stop traveling? I have thought about that. Do I lose credibility?
Yeah, man. Trevor, dude, you've been stuck at 165 countries for 5 years now, man. Are you really a traveler?
Or maybe do I have marketing material? Because I visit all these hotels, my quote-unquote marketing is just sharing the places I visit.
Yeah.
And I could rehash all the places I've already visited and do actual marketing and put that together. But right now I just do it in real time.
Yeah.
That's
You're
all
like,
that's all I do.
Hey, I'm reviewing this hotel. I'm in Pakistan because I need to review the Marriott for you guys. And I'm sharing it in real time just in case anyone wants to visit. It's good. Yeah. Coffee's good.
Yeah, I'm not so much worried about the marketing. But I would say my business is my identity. And I don't see that as a good thing necessarily. Because what if my whole, the evolution of me as a person changes?
Yeah.
The business shouldn't be an obstacle to that.
Yeah.
But I'm aware of that, so I don't think I would let that happen. But my whole persona is very much like travel guy.
Yeah.
as is my business.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about if you're doing these types of businesses, I guess. Huh.
But you can. So you're building like I guess you're building a personal brand, and so they say just keep building your personal brand, and so you can pivot into anything that you're doing next. Like I was just at a conference last weekend. Oh yeah, we're talking about DCBKK, and Shane Hummus, a guy, he was giving a talk there how he built his YouTube channel to 500K subscribers, and he was just telling about he built multiple smaller channels, and they had like specific names that weren't his actual name, And then he pivoted just to, okay, Shane Hummus, this is me. And he's just started talking about all different types of subjects just from his name. And whatever stuck, he just leaned into that. And then, boom, it happened to be, remote work, remote jobs. And then he built his channel on that. And so, you could pivot into anything else travel, related, because you're just an overall travel expert.
Yeah, I'm really not worried about it.
Yeah.
It's a philosophical question.
Yeah.
As far as, just like you don't want to build yourself into the business, especially if you want to exit, which is a problem I have, because my systems are not good enough yet to even take a 2-week vacation. Like they say, you should be able to leave your business for 2 weeks and it should run smoothly.
Yeah.
I can't. So in that regard, I'm not running the best business, because I have a lot of improvement where I can automate and systematize still after 10 years. I'm not doing things the absolute best way I could. I follow all of those trends, and it's something I think about a lot.
Yeah. I couldn't do a 2-week vacation from my Amazon agency until 2 years ago. So for the first 3 years, 2 weeks, I am the captain of the fucking ship, like of everything going on. But finally, but on my to-do list is definitely, I'm going to hire a Notion expert / automation expert and just see what they can create in there. And, I'm sure you could do something too as well. Like there's automation experts you can look up on Upwork and freelance sites or whatever. But then the whole other part of no business is forever. Hey, no job is forever. People get laid off from any position, and businesses can go boop because of COVID or because, new law change, no more credit card points. Okay, this business, boop. But that's why you become an entrepreneur and smart business person, which means diversify your wealth, invest, create other stuff. If there's one thing that COVID taught us, it's that nothing is stable. So have multiple streams of income. Okay, so you're at 160 countries. How many are there? Isn't it 200 something?
193.
193?
Yep. And I follow all the groups that are the guys that will drop in for a single day, check off the country and leave.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I want to do. Basically if I visited the stands, Central Asia and West Africa, I could pretty much knock out all those countries on two separate trips. And I will eventually. But Central Asia would be a leisurely trip. West Africa would definitely not. That would be an uncomfortable trip.
Yeah.
An extremely interesting trip, but it's not going to be easy or comfortable. And I'm just business focused. So I need to be places where I can spend time working on the internet, reliable internet. Even the guys I was hanging out with in Pakistan, they're like, stay another week. Let's go to the mountains. And I saw pictures. It looks unreal. It looks beautiful. Like the type of snow-capped mountains you see in Afghanistan, that's all also in Pakistan. And one of my friends now, I can honestly say that. I think he's a friend. He has a house. He's like, let's go fishing. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to, but I can't right now. I got this webinar. I got work. I can't do the 2-week vacation right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, West Africa looks amazing. I'll go. The other thing to keep in mind is if you're in a relationship, this whole dynamic changes. I'm not so sure I'd want to go to West Africa with a girlfriend because of safety issues. I would feel very much responsible for anything that would happen. Mm-hmm. It's my stupid idea to take her there. Mm-hmm. And part of travel is you do, in a lot of ways, put yourself at the mercy of the universe. You're trusting random people to help you, to not harm you. And also through travel, you find that people are good. That's a cliche, but it is true. I just learned that again, even after so many years of travel, that all these doubts I had about Pakistan being potentially a dangerous place. I mean, I guess it still could be. They're still checking for bombs at my hotel. They're lifting up the hood and checking the trunk.
Yeah.
So there's something there. I didn't see any of it.
That's security theater. Yeah.
Right. But it's there.
Yeah.
The chances of you seeing it or being involved involved in it are very small. Again, I'm rambling. I'm not sure what my point was,
Yeah.
other than the world is still a good place.
Oh yeah. Vast majority, 99.9% of people are great people.
Yeah.
They're just trying. We're all the same. It's one thing you learn. We're all the same. We're all trying to do basically the same shit. We're trying to make a living for ourselves and our family. We are trying to just, have nice food, hang out with friends, have some tea or beer or whatever you want, and just make a living for yourself and just be happy and take care of our families. And that's all anyone's trying to do, and just try to, make life the least shitty possible. That's all everyone is doing in the world.
And nobody knows what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Nobody knows why we're here.
No, we're all just here. That's all we know is we're here. That's all we know for sure. We all know that we have dreams, and there's something weird with dreams. Where am I going with this? So we know, like, we all know that we dream, and our brain can experience these things, but is that another dimension? we don't know. And scientists speculate that there's multiverses and like 11 dimensions and whatnot, but you don't
have to try to find those multiverses. Just go to Pakistan. It's another planet.
Yeah. and the world is way too, it's like Star Wars. It's another planet. Like, we have a galaxy on our Earth. All these other countries, we have snow, we have sand, we have jungle, we have concrete jungles. What a crazy video game this planet is. Oh, I saw the leopard, by the way, when I was in Kenya.
Did you?
I got to see that.
That's
the leopard. We see the leopard.
It's very rare.
Yeah.
Those are hard to find.
He was like, we were looking for it. That was the main thing you're driving around for, right?
We were close. Oh, we saw a rhino. Sorry. The big five. Elephant,
rhino.
Lion, rhino, buffalo, leopard. So the only thing we missed was leopard. So they take you out on the Jeep. There's no roads. So you just drive around.
Mm-hmm.
It's bumpy. You did the same thing. And they have the binoculars. They want you as a customer to be happy, so they want you to see all these big animals. And the closest we got to the leopard was it was spotted. It killed a gazelle, and it was hanging in the tree.
Yeah.
So we saw the gazelle hanging in the tree, and the other guides, they talk to each other. They even WhatsApp back and forth, speaking of electronics and technology. So they're... Even when you pass another guide in Swahili, they talk to each other like, it's over there, it's over there. They tell each other. And the leopard was somewhere in the bushes below the dead gazelle hanging in the tree. And that's how close we were to seeing the big five.
Mm.
And it's like Animal Planet.
Yeah.
That's definitely another one of those experiences where it feels like another planet. I've done 4 game drives now. And I recommend everyone should do at least one.
Yeah.
That's a privileged thing to say, right? Like, everyone should just go to Africa and look at animals if you can. Mm-hmm. If you have miles and points, it's a lot easier. I'll tell you that. It's just we spend so much time in the cities, and to be out there with the animals, it just reminds you that most of the world is nature, not concrete buildings.
Yeah.
You forget that. We really do.
My Africa trip it's been 6 years now, and when are we going back, boys? I can't wait to get back to Africa. Like, everyone should do a safari. When people tell me, what should I do? Where's some place I should travel? Or even if they tell me I'm going on a safari, I go, like, that's the best fucking choice. And now that you tell me about this all-inclusive Marriott thing, that pops up in my brain as like one of the top things that I want to do.
We can make it happen
with my points.
We can plan it. So that's how you make these things happen. You identify a location. I want to go here, and then you plan the bonuses to make that happen. It's really not rocket science, but you have to know, how do I accumulate enough Marriott points to book a 4 to 6 night stay here? So there's strategy involved with all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an amazing trip that I would recommend for anyone. Go out there, see the leopard, If my editor puts this over the screen, I have it on YouTube. I was filming it with my phone. We actually drove like real close to it in the bushes, and it was like coming out of the bushes like right in front of our car. But Safari, great thing. Everyone's got to do it. I recommend it. Anything else going on?
Back to Samui. Back to have a little bit more of a routine. Do the regular sauna, ice bath, which you put me on to, by the way. It's another one of those bromad, digital nomad things to talk about. We don't have to talk about it, but I have been doing it and I feel amazing. So you put me onto that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's just I'm going back to Samui to have some routine, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah. That's the thing is, people ask about nomad life or whatever. Oh, but it's all this, it's all that. The point of it is choice to have an online-based business, online-based career. The point of it is you have the option to be where you want, and you have the option if you want to go on crazy travel sprees like Trevor does all the time. You can do that when you feel like it, and you can bounce on the safari if a friend asks you to, and you can go in Samui and get an apartment and just post up and lock in for a few months and do ice baths every day. And so there's no one flavor of nomad life. It comes in seasons. It's all about the choice and the freedom of, being where you want, when you want. And then the even next level of freedom, of course, comes from inside of your business to be able to hopefully be able to take a complete 2 weeks off. And that's a good milestone in terms of where you're at in terms of a business owner. I'm wishy-washy around that right now, but every type of business is different, and that's a good kind of way to score the level of there's schedule freedom, I would call it.
Yeah. If we're gonna wrap this up with life advice, I'll tell one final Pakistan story. So this was 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, I went to. I'm about to upload some videos today, actually before bed. But I went to a Thursday night ceremony where they dance, some type of religious ceremony that I need to wiki the meaning behind because I don't really know why they were doing what they were doing. So that was one experience, and then I left that area and went to a market, was sitting outside having barbecue in Pakistan, and some guys randomly came up to me and said hello, and then they sat at my table. These are 23-year-old veterinarian students, and this is what I mean by it's a special place. They wanted to talk to me. They had questions, and they just within 5 minutes they were asking me for advice. And I said, I have a business. I travel a lot, because I manage it online. I can travel. And they said, well, what would you tell us? How can we do that? This is all within 5 minutes of meeting these guys. Yeah, I'm also going to post pictures on Instagram today of these guys. And I really had to think about that. Because these are arguably disadvantaged as far as being in Pakistan. My ATM card didn't work. Nobody wants to bank with Pakistan. So any advice I give these guys, it's not standard, access to the world financial system type advice or having disposable income advice. These are guys who are students in Pakistan. And I really had to think about it, and I said, whatever you do, you have to do it consistently. Because I thought, they're studying to be vet students. It's not easy. There's a lot of steps involved to do that. Also in business. And then I said the example, all my friends are now business owners, basically. I mean, all the people I surround myself with are business owners. And one thing I've noticed with them is they just didn't quit. They just kept at it. If you're an Uber driver, that's horrible advice. If you're trying to create a business, that's great advice.
Yeah.
Because if you keep at it, you're going to have a setback. You're going to find a solution. And then you go up a little bit on the trajectory. You have a setback. You find a solution. You just keep at it. So I feel like an old man right now giving advice. But if you're trying to do anything in life or be a digital nomad or create an online business, I'm not going to say it's easy. It's not. I mean, it will be easier, I would say right now I'm at a stage where it's gotten a lot easier, but it wasn't at the beginning. And you just have to be stubborn and consistent and stick with it. That is my
Yeah.
that's my advice, I guess.
That's it, folks. And I would say to those kids, you know what? I would say you should make sure that you actually have an online based business / career in the veterinary space. Why? All right. So what does everyone want? Okay, money is one thing, but everyone also wants to travel and have the location freedom. So I would say, make the internet part of your career, young man, because yeah, it's 2024. All right. If you want to be wealthy, you're gonna need to be getting to the internet. Not just let's forget the location independent thing first. If you want to make the most money, you need to be involved in the internet. You know, even local, veterinary practices, they're involved in the internet. How? They're involved in doing social media ads. Trying to get new customers. So start with digital marketing, and then, if you, I've been telling this to young folks for years. If you feel in your gut, if you want travel to be a part of your life long term, like if you always dreamed, I want to live in Switzerland one day. If you're serious about that, you're serious that you want travel to be like a regular part of your life and like be traveling frequently and visit like dozens of countries in your life, instead of just the typical 2 weeks here and there every few years, then there's no other option. You need to pivot to an online based career. That's the only way.
Agreed.
That's it. It's the only way. Good shit, Trevor. We finally did it.
Yeah. What's the time on this?
We are at probably around 2 hours.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. On 2 hours in 2 chunks. Good stuff. At Mile Method on IG. You on TikTok yet?
I don't bother.
Nah. IG at Mile Method. You already know what to do. Good stuff. All right. Back to Samui. Are you flying there tomorrow?
I haven't booked my flight yet.
Yeah, of course. Last minute. Last minute life. I'm the same. All right. Won't keep you any longer.
Wrap it up. It's fun.
Thanks, brother.
I take you to the candy shop.